What's up with it? Welcome to FiendCity Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Abeyta. This is episode 1, brought to you by Peterson Properties, our first sponsor. I'm with my boy, my producer, my co-host, Angel Lopez. What's up, Angel?
What's up, everybody? How's it going?
Yo, I'm excited for this. We waited a long time to do this right. Me and Angel talked about this on his podcast years ago about maybe producing something and doing something together. And over a year later, it took a whole pandemic, but we got this podcast going.
Everybody was like so niche. They're just like, I need to do something. And it pushed a lot of people to start doing shit. So hell yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, since I saw you last time, you moved locations. Your setup's completely different. And now we're able to, finally do this podcast. So thank you. Big thank you to Angel for getting this going. And like I said, this is our first episode. So it's going to just be a comedy podcast, New Mexico lifestyle, wellness, cannabis, hip hop, shoes, whatever we do. That's all we do.
It's life, dog. Yeah. Life.
Talk about our shows. I've been doing comedy in Albuquerque for over 4 years now. Of course, we had the year of the pandemic, but still try to do as much as we could. Angel's been doing comedy for how long now here in Albuquerque?
I've been about killing it now for about a year.
There we go. And you know what? I really appreciate like somebody that's a really strong up-and-comer. Angel has always had the right approach, and I told him that from the beginning. And I like to work with people that are just driven. For those of you that doesn't know, Angel doesn't just do comedy. He's a musician. He does Twitch streaming, gaming streaming, so you can see this guy. Give him your platforms real quick.
Oh man,
we have a different audience for you now.
This guy literally is way too nice. Yeah, I just do a bunch of shit on Twitch, YouTube, fucking got the podcast. Literally just Google Muse Me TV.
Okay.
It turned into this. I mean, Muse Me TV is now something I should be producing now. Production company where I'm just helping other comedians make them want to do something more and produce. Because dude, we all have stuff to talk about. We all have niches. We all have an audience, and podcasting now is the way to go. I don't care what anybody says.
I'm so excited to do this. That way we can reach a different audience. And I have family members that always just like, they come see me host shows and they want to hear us talk longer. They just want to hear what's going on in their life. So it's a good way to keep people updated on our schedules. So that'll be like the first thing I want to hit you guys with is hopefully this drops Sunday. So hopefully y'all are chilling. It's a nice Sunday for you guys to listen to the first episode of this podcast. And this is my first weekend off in 3 months. So since things have opened up, I've toured every weekend, first weekend home in 3 months and having off. But we're doing the first episode of the podcast. But my next show is next Saturday, Albuquerque, July 26th. I'm doing Comedy for Recovery. So you'll find that location. Check my Instagram for that, Zach Abeyta Comedy. The night after Sunday, I'm actually doing a Sunday night show at Red Velvet, Psychedelic Psycho. It's like a really cool psychedelic comedy show.
Tom Bomb.
Tom Bomb, bro. That's a fun, yeah. And you know what? I'm happy he reached out because he's reached out to me when I was in, I think, Colorado or either Colorado or Arizona. That's how all over the place I've been. But he hit me up for a show, and I already had something. And as soon as he commented, I'm like, dude, it's a Sunday. I have nothing going on. I'm there. So next Saturday, Sunday, I'll be in Albuquerque. July 8th, I'm excited for this one. I'm going to be headlining a show in El Paso, Texas. My first time in El Paso, headlining, and I'm bringing the boys along. I'm bringing Maverick McWilliams, all the way coming back from OKC, and Josh Fournier. And that's the three amigos right there. That's tres friends in English. So anytime I could bring those dudes and we could do a show together, it's just so much fun being around, and that's why I started comedy with. For those of you that don't know, Maverick and Josh, both Albuquerque comedians, but at this point have moved and are doing their thing in other places. Maverick's in Oklahoma City. He's killing it. He hosts at Bricktown Comedy Club. And Josh is skinwalking everywhere.
Hey, dude, that guy literally ends up everywhere. Like, just
everywhere.
He ends up posting like, "Hey guys, just ended up in Arizona.
He's
teleported to Arizona."
Yeah, he's at some casino right now, just doing Instagram stories.
Right? Oh man, that's hilarious.
But he's in the Four Corners area. He's killing it. He's everywhere. He's in Durango probably every week.
Here it is. That's what I was looking for. This bad boy.
Let's see. Yeah, so the three of us will be in El Paso, Texas, July 8th, Thursday at Mona Bar. Yes. You know what? I'm happy you brought up that picture because that means a lot to me. That was my first theater headlining show ever.
Yeah.
And, where we at in comedy, we don't even get to perform in theaters that often. So to be able to headline in a theater, that was in Durango at the Strader Theater in their, hotel, that historic hotel right on Main Street. And unfortunately, this theater's shut down now. So I'm really happy I got to not only perform here several times, but also headline a show of my own and bring my two best friends along. So that's where that picture comes from, and so that means a lot for sure right there. So July 8th, El Paso, Mona Bar. And then excited right after that, we're going to be July 9th, Cities of Gold, north of Santa Fe, the casino, Cities of Gold Casino. And I got Maverick, I got Josh, and I'm also bringing Cody Dove and Luis Powell along.
Dope.
Some of my favorite people in Albuquerque. And then the next day, I have my first show in Santa Fe. Very excited to announce we're doing a show right off the plaza, historic Santa Fe Plaza at the Apothecary Lounge. So 7 and 9 p.m., 2 shows in Santa Fe. So y'all come out to that, those northern New Mexico heads.
And where's the best way that they probably can find all that? They'll probably find it on your social media. They don't have to go buy the tickets anywhere or nothing like that.
So tickets will be at the door. That'll all, Cities of Gold will also be at the door. I believe there might be a link online, so check their casino website. But Santa Fe for the Plaza Apothecary, we're just going to be doing that at the door. We will have like a square reader, so, we will be taking card. That one's going to be fun, man. It's like an underground venue. It's intimate, like 50, 60 people. That's why we're going to do 2 shows to turn it over quick to get as much audience in there. And being where it is in Santa Fe, I feel we're going to have a ton of foot traffic. It'll be an easy show to pack in for sure.
So that's funny that you mentioned the Cities of Gold, because when I used to live up in Taos with my grandpa and shit. Okay. Oh my God, that's the casino. Oh, old people, for whatever reason, do a casino run all the way from Santa Fe back to Taos. Like, they hit all, like, Cities of Gold, fucking Camel Rock.
Camel Rock, dog.
What's the other one? Buffalo Thunder.
Buffalo Thunder.
It's ridiculous. There's even one in Espanola. It used to be called the Big Rock. It used to be called the Big Rock, but I can't remember.
I don't remember that one, dude. Lowrider capital of the world. Shout out Espanola.
Dude, oh my God. Espanola is a crazy place, man. It's so
you
pretty.
grew up like doing that grandpa that hit the casinos. Did he bingo? Did your grandpa?
No,
bingo?
he's a slot guy.
Okay.
It's the slots.
So
dude.
I remember when I grew up, my grandma in Santa Fe, she was the bingo lady, right, for sure. And she would go to those same casinos. But I remember she had the bingo stampers, and they look like sick ass markers. But she would be pissed if you used them.
And I bet not only one card. Not only 5 cards,
no.
A whole table of cards,
everything.
Bro.
I'm stamping up that whole. That's what probably started off like hip hop graffiti for me. When I really think back to that's the old school graffiti, grandma bingo stampers.
Right. By the time you know it, she's already drawn an S somewhere.
Yeah, just stamping quesadillas and tortillas all over the kitchen. That's some real shit. You know what? I'm like, so cities, going back. So July 8th, El Paso. July 9th, Cities of Gold. July 10th, Santa Fe. Catch us marking up some bingo stampers. And you got anything on Hell? On Hell, you'll see them every week. First of all, Inside Out Mondays, right?
Yeah, I'm always trying to hit every open mic that I can.
Okay.
I need to hit the Santa Fe one. I guess there's a Santa Fe open mic called at the Chili Lime Brewery.
That's on a Wednesday, right?
Yeah, by the Wayward Comedy Group.
Maybe we could take a cruise out there and do some sets and promote the Santa Fe shows.
Yeah, dude, it looks dope. They always say have a good crowd there. Very up and coming, like funny, like it's a good room.
That's cool.
It's
and
dope.
You know what? I've never been there. I just need to make the cruise. You know, me and Angel both work. You know, we're both comedians. We both do other things, but we both have day jobs. So
that's the hardest, dude. I'm surprised. I still don't know how you guys do it. I'm still trying to adapt to it, man. And there's so many times I'm at work. It's like, why the fuck am I working? I hear all these stories about comedians that are just like, I gave up and I tried it and at least I'm doing something different. I'm just like, fuck, I'm so scared.
So I finally cut back not much, but just like 4 hours a week just to put a little bit more time in to be able to producing these shows, because Canteen and Albuquerque will also be coming back. So wait for that date. So I'm going to have 3 live shows, the podcast. So I just need a little bit more time for that, as well as being booked on everything I have.
Yeah.
I have another show in August. I think that's August 21st in Farmington at the casino out there.
I was surprised, too, how you guys get booked spontaneously as well.
It's wild.
Like, literally, you probably can get a call tonight about something on Sunday if you can make it.
So last weekend was a perfect example of for real. I shout out to Roswell, New Mexico. I just got back for last weekend. I did 2 shows out there at the Liberty Foundation. This dude Josh brought me out really nice, and exactly like you said, I received a Facebook message that was like, my buddy Joe recommended you for a show. We need an opener. Can you come out? And we set up the deal. This was on a Friday. They wanted to be the next Friday. we didn't confirm this till Tuesday. So Tuesday, I confirmed 2 weekend shows, Friday and Saturday. And called the pops. You already know my pop. Y'all guys will see that my dad on this show for sure. But my dad rolls with me to shows. He's the fucking dude. He's the man. So he cruised out with me. We got a room, and just like that, from Tuesday to Friday, I'm in Roswell doing sold out shows, and it was a nuts audience, dude. 250 people plus each night.
Damn.
So we'll get some pictures for that for sure. I have some pictures, so we'll send it over.
Dope.
Send it over so we could add it in. Yeah, so that was really fun. Roswell has a really cool audience. Maybe I'll even add in a couple clips just so you can see how fun they were. I did this act out. For those of you guys that see my comedy, I'm super silly. I really don't talk about anything political. That's just who I am in my real life, though. If you know me, I'm silly. I just like to have fun. And that's a lot of my comedy on stage. And I did an act out that got this applause break. That was probably one of the best applause breaks I ever got. But the fact that it was just on me doing silly act outs, and it was a wrap up of the joke, of course, but still, like, Roswell really came out. So shout out to them. And like you said, spontaneous shows. And this being my first weekend off, next weekend I'm right back to it. 2 shows, 3 the following weekend, and it just continues like
it's
that.
A grind. It's a grind. It's a job too. Like, if you really want to make it a dedicated thing, you just got to keep going at it. Like, I can see where I flop because there's some times where I'd like, oh fuck, whatever, I didn't hit every open mic this week, and then the next week when I do, I'm just like, wow, I totally feel that fucking lag.
Well, you see the growth, and you gotta like, everybody wants quick success or like instant gratification, right? It's way easier to get off work and stop and get like some fast food than it is to go home and cook a healthy meal. That like instant gratification. But the long-term gratification you get from comedy and the patience that you put into it really pays off. Like, for example, I did my last Colorado run a few weeks ago. I did 8 shows in 4 days and filmed a comedy sketch. Most comedy I've done in there in a short amount of time. I was in Fort Collins. Shout out to the Comedy Fort, David Rodriguez. That was an amazing club, brand new, but an amazing club in Fort Collins. Thursday night. Friday night, I was at the Comedy Lounge, 2 shows, and then I did the Dead Room Basement show, which is a really fun show. Shout out to my homies, Dead Room Comedy, the Durango Boys, and Jeff Stonick. And then same thing, Saturday, 3 shows. Sunday, I did a show in Colorado Springs. And just like you said, a lot of people don't realize, a lot of times for runs like that, I put more money into that run than I made, right? I may make $40 a show here, $20 a show there, but when you're putting money into hotel rooms, food all day, gas, where we're at in comedy, between me and Angel and the next level, we spend more money than we make.
Yeah.
So these runs are taxing, and granted, I had great spots. I did some really good clubs out there, and I was thinking on the drive back, because I drove back after Colorado Springs. So after Sunday, I didn't have money to get a room, so it's like, let's make this cruise, 5 hours home. It is what it is. Cruised home, and on the way, I was like thinking about all the things that takes to go into this. But at the same time, 4 years ago, when I did my first run to Denver, I went out there just to do open mics.
Damn. See, and that's you got to spend money to make money.
Exactly.
That's all
that like is. Scared money don't make none.
Yeah,
you know what
exactly.
I mean? That's that shit right there. But
it's true. It's so true.
Same thing in Durango, man. Like, shout out Josh. Like, hopefully we get him on as one of our first guests. I love Josh Fournier. He's in that Four Corners area, and he used to tell me about this open mic in Durango. Laugh Therapy was in this cool venue, underground. It was like a little comedy club style, and it would get like 80 people there for an open mic, dude. And that's better than any show we have in Albuquerque.
Yeah.
And so I would head up to this open mic, and I was so naive at first. Like, I would get hotel rooms, I would make a trip out of it. But you're spending so much money, like, before you know it, you're spending hundreds of dollars doing open mics. But it does pay off, because now Durango is one of my favorite places to go. When I usually go out there, it's for headlining sets, and they show a lot of love. So it takes years and years, and I've still only done so much in the Southwest region. Like, you got so much more work to do,
dude. Yeah, you hear those people talk about New York comedy and shit like that. Mm-hmm. Oh my god, I could just imagine that shit, dude.
5-6 sets in a night, if you could do it, it's possible. But
that's true of like almost any big city, right? Like, you can probably hit something like that if you were in Phoenix, right?
Yeah, when I was in Phoenix, same thing. A lot of people ask about Albuquerque comedy. For those of you who don't know, we don't have any comedy clubs here, 0. So our stage time consists of
So go ahead.
Open mics at breweries, coffee shops, literally anywhere that we could squeeze the show in, and that's why I'm setting up so many shows myself.
That wasn't used to happen. It wasn't like that, right?
No, we did when I was a kid, we did have a comedy club. We had Laughs.
Okay, that's what I heard of too. I never saw it or anything, but I heard about it.
And I used to live pretty close to it. I had an apartment complex we lived in not too far, and I grew up seeing that comedy club. But by the time I feel like I was in high school, I feel like it was probably already shutting down. And then, of course, we had the failed comedy club downtown. That was kind of a joke. I think, for those of you...
Were you a part of that, or were you already in the scene when that happened?
I was already in the scene. I did the opening night. The funny part is I performed the opening night 3 hours and 15 minutes into the night. And my first joke was like, yo, and this is just holds truth for you, for those, this is just rule. No comedy show should ever be longer than a Lord of the Rings movie. So those of you produce these shows, 3-hour shows, that's nobody needs to be in an audience just struggling to laugh still. So, but that comedy club, unfortunately, I think it was open for less than 2 weeks. It was just a failed experiment all around. I don't really know the guy that opened it, but it just seemed he was like a bad businessman. He had a bad reputation. So, comedy in Albuquerque is just tough. That's like the bottom line. But we do have some great shows that are popping up. Like we just said, we have an Inside Out open mic on Mondays, hosted by Royal and Holly, and they do a great job at that. That's the closest thing, an open mic to an actual show. They get good audiences. And then there's a new show at Revel, hosted by Jamar Hall, that he's doing a great job with. They have crazy packed audiences. It's the closest thing to a comedy club atmosphere, especially now that the stage still isn't doing shows. I host at Santa Ana Star. It's a casino out in Bernalillo, and they have a place there called The Stage, which they do comedy shows, and that's where the bigger headliners come. My first shows I did were actually with Steve-O from Jackass, so that was really fun. I got to be not only his host but his feature as well, just him and me, and being we grew up watching Jackass, man. That was huge to me.
That's a big deal.
That was huge. Just the fact that that hit so hard for our era. I remember going to middle school, and you and your friends just talking about doing dumb things
right.
Yeah, so
you could even remember them doing the actual Jackass thing and the saying all the time, my name's fucking Tyler and I'm jumping off a bridge today.
Yeah, and then you would try to recreate it, but your shit was just so hood or Albuquerque's my name's Jose and I'm about to get jumped into this crew.
Right, yeah. I'm jumping down a ditch, eh?
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's bro, it's no, my name's Jose and I'm going to close my grandma's door hard as fuck.
Yeah. See what she does, eh?
Yeah, I'm going to close the door all hard, dog.
You don't think she's not going to react?
Yeah, so shout out. So Santa Ana Star has big shows.
So that's a big feature that you have under your belt.
That's one of my bigger, definitely because he's killing it right now in comedy. So that's great. It's cool to see someone transition.
Even if he's not killing it in comedy, Steve-O is a fucking.
It's such a big. He has his Albuquerque kind of legend status because he lived here for a while, and we don't really have too many hometown celebrities. So Steve-O's definitely a good one, and those were fun shows, man, and hopefully Santa Ana gets us back. I was supposed to do some really good names. I hate to even say them because I've done this before where I'm supposed to open for people. You get booked, you promote it, and I've had 2 different occasions where I'm supposed to open for people, and
this is 2
different occasions.
I only remember one.
I'm only gonna say one. I'll say one. The first one not so much because they did it properly in the fact that they emailed, even though they booked me as the host for the shows, they emailed the club probably about 2.5 weeks in advance, just saying that they're bringing their own host. Yeah. And this happens a lot. For where I'm at in comedy, being hosting clubs or hosting bigger venues, a lot of times these people will still bring their own people, and then they don't need you after all. And so it's hard because you get excited, you want to promote it. I'm opening up for so and so, and then that changes. And the roughest one that I will say though was I was supposed to open for Bob Saget, Mr. America's dad over here, and I'm over here America's stepchild.
Well, oh man.
And so I was booked to host all 4 shows of his, and basically what happened is I got the confirmation the week of the show. Basically they send you an itinerary in your email the week of the show, just saying your show times, how many shows you're doing, and gives you casino guidelines, because some casinos give you certain things you have to follow or certain things you need to say at the show as a host. And so I got that itinerary. I show up for the first show, and I knew something. And you got to remember, I promoted this on all my social medias. Bob Saget, dude. You know what I mean? I was psyched. This was, my other probably biggest name at that point that I had opened up for. And not only being a stand-up, Bob's an old school stand-up. And if you didn't know, he does a lot of, you think of him as America's dad, but his stand-up is raunchy.
Yeah.
It's different. So I was really excited. I promoted it. I had friends, family coming out, people wearing my merch, literally like the shirt, you know what I mean? And
represent.
I show up, and as soon as I walk up to the podium, or to the front door where all the staff is, the manager and everybody kind of gave me like a side-eye look. And I was like, and they're like, why are you here? And I was like, well, I'm supposed to host the shows this weekend. And they're like, oh, well, we don't think Bob wants a host. And I was just so thrown off, and try not to be professional and just see what happens. And they're like, well, let's go check with him. And so I waited at the front, and they come back and they're like, yeah, he doesn't want to host. And this is after being booked, double confirmed. And I had my Canteen show that weekend. It was the first time I had to get not only booked, because I produced that show that I've been doing at Canteen Brewery with Maverick, shout out. And I still book and fully produce that show. And that was the first time that I was doing shows at the Star and doing a Canteen show and having a host fill in. And so luckily the one benefit of that weekend, I was still able to do my show. But it was a bummer, bro. I'm not going to lie. So we go through, like you said,
spontaneous. Yeah, you literally think it's gonna go down, and then all of a sudden that happens. That's pretty crazy. But again, even in the smaller sense of where I'm at, that's happened to me too, where it's just like, out of nowhere, Kevin Kennedy will just be like, hey, I'll come this Saturday. Yeah. Like the day of, sometimes he's just like, you want to do 5 minutes? I'll let you do 5 minutes. And it's just like, it seems kind of cool because, that's kind of like the showcase day for him. He kind of finds people for that.
And it's our only Saturday night show really right now.
Yeah, so it kind of feels, I get that little, that excitement when he's like spontaneously like, oh man, I need somebody and I can use you. Yeah. You want to come in? And I was like, that's dope. Hell yeah, I appreciate it. But I could just imagine on your level on how that feeling is, and it's dope. It fucking... Yeah, comedy on another level is fucking a really great experience. I never thought I would get into it this much, but going more and more deep into it, it's just like a niche where just like, god damn, it's fucking hard work for sure.
And you know what? You do so many things. Like, I'm very lucky to be getting better spots as things continue to progress, but I still do wild shows. A few weeks ago, I was in Aztec with a group of comedians, and we did River of Souls Music Festival, which was a wild. I've never really been the rave guy. I've been to one or so growing up in high school. That's never really been my thing personally. I'm I love underground hip hop. That's my stuff. But we got booked to do a comedy show. This was the wildest rave ever. First of all, it was in Aztec, New Mexico, which is northern New Mexico, kind of by Durango, and it was in this it was a river resort, so they had lakes, and it was pretty cool. But bro, it had rained all day. Oh shit! And when we got there, the comedy show got canceled because our stage got flooded out, for real. So all of us comedians are basically hanging out. We got some food. We're trying to figure out what to do, trying to make the best out of it. And they still end up doing the show. And they do the show. I'll send you this clip for sure. And they do the show. And they end up doing it by where people camp out. There's like an Airstreamer, vendors, and people's tents. And we're just standing there in the rocks.
With a microphone.
Doing this show post-rain. But there's a little audience. We're having fun. We're making the best out of it. And, and I'm wrapping up at the end. It's me and Steph, and we're doing longer sets. Me and Steph Darnell, and I'm doing my set. And out of nowhere, I just see this car emerge and pull up to the audience, but not give a fuck, bro. And it just kind of slowly keeps creeping. I'm like, what the fuck? And then I see the audience move their chairs, and this car just creeps, literally drives through the audience, drives right past me. This Toyota Camry this lady who just casually cruising like she's on her way to Target for some soy cameras.
It's like, I need to get to that stop over there.
Yeah, dude, she's going to get some kombucha from Whole Foods, and she just casually cruising, and then she just drives past all of us, drives through, and then she just four wheels down this like hump in her Toyota Camry and parks. And I'm like, this is wild. I'm like, I was in Arizona last weekend doing some like really good shows
with valet parking.
Yeah, dude. And now like legit nice green rooms. They give you food, and now I'm getting ran over like it's Grand Theft Auto, River of Souls. And so yeah, we do all kinds of stuff. We do all kinds of stuff, and I'll continue to do wild shit. I've done. This is one of the questions. For those of you we have an email, FiendCityPodcast@gmail.com. So please send in questions. I'll take questions on Instagram. Angel will repost it on his. But one of the questions I did get was worst road show.
Okay.
And I can't say this was the worst, but this definitely stands out as the funkiest. And it was my first hour set that I ever had to do. And this was at another rave. So this was called One Love Vibration. And this was a rave, bro. Like, you had to drive, like, first of all, it was way out in the forest. I was in my WRX, at least it's all-wheel drive. And we were cruising 45 minutes into the forest, just four-wheeling, dude. There's nothing out there. And all of a sudden, you just pull up to this security guard in the middle of the street. He's basically like some random ICP fan.
Big dude, right?
Dude, just some Slipknot brethren. And he's out there, and he like checks, he's like, who are you? I'm like, I'm a comedian, blah, blah, blah. And they let us in. We four-wheel into the venue, and we're at the stage 3. So we're at the non-music venue. So a lot of times raves, music festivals have multiple stages because there's so much going on. This was a rave, but the weird part is that we're during the day. We're the day act, right? Because they have to have something to fill in entertainment until they start playing music again in the evening.
In the night, yeah.
Exactly. So they bring us out, and once again, this was 3 amigos, bro. This was me, Josh, and Mavericks. I think this is all of our first hour sets. We all did an hour. I think Maverick was smart though, because he broke his up into 2 days, 30-minute sets. But me and Josh said screw it, let's go full hour on this music festival. I got to this set. There was burlesque dancers, topless, bro, just nips on the strip. There was a dog wearing a bikini doing acro yoga. Imagine following those acts.
Right.
You're just with an hour of comedy, and this is the thing for. I can't say this is the worst because the set actually went good. There was a good group of people. There was like a hula hoop girl, just like taking a casual nap in front of me with booty cheeks. It was the first time I got an ass clap applause break. It all happens in the hood, dog, in the forest. So I don't want to say that was my worst, but that was the weirdest. Like, you have to drive in the middle of nowhere, and they're like, you could camp here. So you're like, okay, am I gonna camp at this rave? Or am I gonna get a hotel, drive back? So those are the things you have to realize. So I four-wheel out of there after my set. So weird shows, dude. Where's like your weirdest show you've done so far?
Fuck, man. So before I actually started to do comedy, I actually played in a metal band. We used to play melodic death metal.
Melodic
death metal. Melodic death metal, and we had a gimmick too, where we would I would wear like spandex, like if I was like an 80s glam metal band.
Okay.
But yet our music was melodic death metal.
Damn, boy.
So it was a gimmick. It was pretty funny.
Just out there, COTB, just
Dude,
cheeks out the back.
We had a fucking show where it was in the South Valley.
Okay.
In the trailer in the South Valley. We went to the trailer, right, and we're like, oh, okay, whatever. We do house shows all the time.
A trailer in the South Valley. So if you don't know Albuquerque landscape, South Valley is
a desert.
The desert hood. There's nothing. There ain't no coffee shops out there. No hipsters are in the South Valley. There's not a nice gym. There's basically a taco stand. And that's it. And
then Walmart that you have to go like fucking pretty far to.
Yeah, you have to sea walk in.
But we were gonna go play there. We ended up playing in the shed in the backyard.
Wow.
Which was, to be fair, a really good show. But it was just so crazy.
So weird, right?
Yeah, where it was at, the people that were there, like the parents come out, they're like, oh, hey, we enjoy all you got kids and your heavy metal music and shit like that. And you're just like, holy shit, you guys are like 60 drinking with like 15, 17-year-olds. Like, what the fuck?
It's so wild, man. It's so wild. You'll never know where these weird shows will be fun, will be strange. You never know what happens. the one thing I learned over the last year doing like the pandemic time, having to do comedy or trying to find comedy to do, is that you don't always need the best atmosphere to do it. I did a show at in Durango, and it was just at someone's backyard. They had a huge backyard, they had like a little patio as they set up as a stage, and that was one of the funnest shows I did during the whole pandemic, man. They had Durango came out, people just brought camping and lawn chairs. They brought picnic, like their food and stuff. And then the neighbors, like how you said, the neighbors in the back were lucky enough because it was so loud that they pulled up with their friends, and there was these old Durango people watching us, but they had a blast. So you don't always need, these perfect A clubs to have a good show.
Oh, dude, that's where I'm starting to discover more of how to be like a dope comedian, is because if you can get those connections anywhere, even if it is in a small club, then they'll brag about it to bigger places. Dude, it's weird how you find your niche, but it's so badass. I mean,
so we jumped right into it, man, and
that shit blows me away.
Yeah, it blows me away. We jumped right into it. So a little bit more about me, I guess. I've been doing comedy in Albuquerque for almost 5 years now. But before that, I've been in the hip hop scene for over a decade. I've been dancing, so that's like, the logo is kind of me doing a hip hop freeze.
What is the title that you call B-boy, right?
B-boy, yep. Yeah. So, and a play on, FiendCity, the name of the podcast, comes from so many different things. Like my nickname since I was in high school was Felto. A bunch of my friends just called me, like, switch it up. They would call me Felto the Fiend. And it's crazy what that leads into, because the hip hop, or like the b-boy crew that I'm in, they're the Flava Fiends, and this was like came up way later. So it's ode to the crew, ode to like my past, and my tag still on PlayStation, like online PlayStation, is FiendCity. So catch me up on there. I'm never really playing games anymore. We're out here doing comedy now, but bro, FiendCity's everywhere. So you never know where these things come from. So I've been in the hip hop scene for a while. I've been breaking, have taught classes, battled with the Fiends for, a while now. That's the crew for sure. So we're gonna get some of them on, because a lot of the crew at this point is doing different things, and they're still in the hip hop. The younger cats have grown up and they're killing it. And we have people that are doing music now, doing art now, DJing. So and I'm doing comedy. So you see your hip hop family grow, and it's really cool to see us doing different things. So. Other than that, I work in the cannabis industry, so we definitely have some people in the cannabis industry on.
420 friendly.
Yeah, this is definitely a 420 friendly podcast. So Sunday, get your coffee, spark up. Me and Angel are, we both love 420 friendly events. So it's cool to see it going rec. Shout out my work is Mountaintop. So if you're going to any New Mexico dispensaries, you should see some Mountaintop products. They kill it. Grab something. And we'll have some people on, because we're going rec in the state. And I really think that'll switch a lot of things up. You're going to see the cannabis change us in our state like it did Colorado and all these other places. Vegas, like even Arizona is so different now that it has rec. So
interesting. I feel now too that like a lot of the smoke shops and stuff, like their transition into selling weed is going to be so simple. Like that's just like the perfect setup for them. Like all those shops that are just like, hey, come buy all of your tobacco and marijuana products. Now literally they can have that there. So like all those smoke shops are just literally going to be like open mom and pop shops for weed. It's going
to be dope. You're going to see a lot of things changing, and hopefully we see some like more 420 friendly events, because I like to perform for stuff like that. I like the cannabis community. A lot of thing about our communities here in New Mexico, whether it be the hip hop, the b-boy breaking scene, because there's only so many b-boys and b-girls, and it's like the comedy scene. Like all of our scenes, the bodybuilding scene, the cannabis scene, are pretty small. So anytime that they come together and everybody kind of supports each other, it does so much more for these communities, because we need to not like cannibalize each other as comedians or as dancers or wherever artist you may want to like describe yourself as, because we have so small, like you said, niches and communities that we have to come together and like build up as much as possible. So that's why I want to use this podcast as a way to bring all these different people in the community, different business owners that I've met from working in the industry and doing comedy, because with my canteen show, me and Maverick, we've been doing that for we had a whole year off, of course, because of the pandemic, but right in that March of last year was supposed to be our 2-year anniversary. And for every month, I would print out 1,500 flyers for the show. I'd go to 30, 40 local businesses, and every month I drop off these flyers. So you get to know local business owners, and we're gonna have as many cool like different people as we have on, people in the bodybuilding industry, you know, and we'll keep it rocking, bro. Out of state comedians, like when I bring, cause I'm gonna use these shows to get the out of state homies here. So anytime I have an out of state homie, we'll have some good guests on. We'll keep it rocking.
That'd be dope. That's actually the first time I actually met Maverick. I saw him. He went to an open mic. I think it was Kevin Kennedy's. And I was just hanging out there, and I was like, "Hey, I have a podcast. You want to come check it out?" And dude, he came and that was like my first out of state comedian.
Well, definitely. So he's gonna be doing that run with me, like I said. So July 8th, 9th, and 10th. I got him. I was really happy to do that. I got him on one show. I got him on the El Paso show, and then booked the other ones. So I was like, "Yo, bro, I got you on 4 shows when you're coming home." And Maverick was my first comedy homie in the scene. I don't know if you knew that. I did my first open mic, and the second, you know, like you said, you get hooked. So right away, this next night, I went to another one, and I'm sitting all at a table all by myself with my little comedy notebook, you know, your pen, and Maverick just always had like natural charisma. He's walking around owning the room, and he sees me, and he comes and he sits with me. He's like, "Hey, mind if I take a seat?" And I go ahead, man. He's like, "What's your name?" And we introduce each other. And he's like, how long you been in comedy? And I was like, "This is my second night ever." And he's like, "Well, you seem pretty serious about it." And I'm like, I've always been a big fan. And he's like, "Well, if you want to grab breakfast this Saturday and we could talk comedy and just talk shop, let's do that." And I'm like, "Dude, for sure." So that Saturday, got breakfast with Maverick, and you know, started doing a show with him, and ended up being one of my best friends, closest comedy buddies. And same thing with Josh. Josh was the third open mic. You know, next night, Josh comes up to me after my set, and we all started comedy fairly at the same time. Josh, right before me, Maverick maybe a year before us, but that's our class, right? Pretty close class. And Josh came up to me and just said, he's like, "Hey man, you're really funny." And first person at a mic to ever telling me I'm funny, and one of my closest best friends to the day. So those will definitely be 2 of our first guests on, and that's the 3 amigos right there, bro.
Nice. That's what's up, man.
So where are we at right now? I know we cruised right through this first episode.
We killed it. We had 38 minutes.
Okay, yeah. I know you had a segment for us. Let's go.
I do want to try this out. Let's see what how this goes.
Let's go.
Us being from New Mexico, we have hood vibe. We have gangster vibe. We also like to call it cholo vibe.
Oh yeah.
So, dude, we were growing up with vatos. We know all about the vatos. Oh, yeah. We know all about the fucking whatever gangs they were at that time. So what I did is I used to go out and I used to do a segment called Ask an Essay.
Oh, all right. I dig this.
So what I would do is I would just film somebody, any random people, and ask them to ask a question to a cholo. I was like, if you were to ask a question to a cholo, what would you ask them? So I have a couple of videos here.
All right.
You're going to be the cholo.
Oh, I'm going to be the cholo. Let's go.
Yeah, okay. So they're going to ask you a question and you're going to answer it however you want.
All right, let me tap into my North Valley roots. I did grow up in the North Valley. I went to Garfield Middle School.
He's just trying to get that button. Take down that button.
I do button this shirt up for a reason. And this thing, I got bullied by vatos my whole life, bro. You think I didn't go to middle school with a kid named Victor that was 16 years old? He drove to middle school, dog. 6th grade.
Oh,
think
God.
about that.
Right.
He had a bald head and a mustache, and he was 15.
And he still got there.
So that is wild, bro. I am used to this vato.
All right, I pull this bad boy up. Let's get this on this end.
Let's see.
This is our first guy. This person here.
Oh, shit, dude. He looks like he's hunting tortillas.
So this guy here is about to ask you a question.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go.
It's bad boy right here.
If you can ask a cholo or a gangster anything you want to ask him, what would you ask him?
That's a difficult question. Would you have the confidence to talk to him?
Oh, okay. I like the confusion because what do you have? He flipped that question on you is what he did. Is he asking himself? Does he have the confidence to ask?
Him, I think And then you look at that face where he ends on, dude.
Oh yeah,
he's so confused. We'll go through that question one more time.
Let's hear it again. Because obviously this guy just looks like he he looks like little bear transformed into a person.
Who just got his first Holy Communion.
And, oh yeah, for sure. And you could tell this guy has some Latino roots because that gold chain with a cross on it. That little circle next to it is definitely the Virgin Mary. Yeah. So he's super Latino.
One of the saints, obviously.
Or a gangster, anything you want to ask him, what would you ask him?
Pause it real quick. So right when you said you're like a cholo or a gangster, he gave this little head turn. He would look how nervous, right? He was rolling the tongue in the mouth, bro.
Because again, I don't tell him what I'm gonna ask him.
Oh yeah.
I literally just say like.
Because this guy's Latino, but let's be honest, he's like Moriarty Latino. He's like F-150. He's not really Impala like downtown Latino. He's more like I still work on a ranch. Like look at that hat, bro. That hat looks older than New Mexico itself.
That
bro.
looks like he fucking at least shoveled shit a few times.
He looked like he got that hat at the Battle of the Alamo.
So yeah, fucking. Would you have the confidence to go ask a cholo a question? I mean that. What is?
This is the thing. Is honestly like, right? The what did they say? The higher the socks, the downer the foo.
Right. Yeah, there you go.
But you have to wait for the vato to come ask you. You have to win over the vato. You don't want to just come up to a vato that's straight stone cold chilling because he's not the one with it. You'll know because there's two different types of vatos, right? There's this southern New Mexico kind of vato. You don't want to. He's like too chill, right? He kind of almost has that like. He almost walks around looking like that, like he just has a cheek full of big league up in there.
Right, like, oh yeah, just dipped. I'm dipping. Where's my fucking water bottle?
But then you'll see this other vato, and you'll see him because he's moving. He has a lot of hand. He's almost dancing. And his head's he's looking around a lot because he's looking for someone to talk to.
Yeah,
he's hype. That's the vato you want, and he'll usually come up and talk to you. When I was in Roswell, bro, this is how wild and diverse it is. Roswell was a very small town. It's a farming town, very rural. But there's always going to be vatos in New Mexico everywhere you go.
Dude.
And my front table, there was the two best kind of vatos. There was the classic, there's like the thick boy vato, bald head, big white t-shirt, like similar chains, right? Big chain, Nike Cortez, right? He had anchor blue pants on. I don't even know where you get those anymore. And then they had my favorite vato next to him, which is like the fancy vato, right? He had like the tight black and like shirt with a gold accents, like an old school Affliction looking shirt.
Oh, okay.
Like the tighter pants, the dress shoes, and a fedora. And in one of my acts, I kind of describe a guy like that. And I made him stand up, and they were having so much fun. They were with a chola chick with hoop earrings. They were doing it all. And after the show, that guy came up to my dad because I was selling merch, and he's like, "Are you his dad?" He's all, "You guys are so down, bro." He's, "Let me buy you some drinks." He bought my dad like 3 shots, dog.
Holy
this vodka, dog. So the thing is, you have to have the confidence, but you also have to like that vato wants to approach you, bro.
Yeah.
It's like a rabid dog. Like you wait for it to come up to you. You don't just run up to a Rottweiler.
I don't care if I love all dogs.
Yeah, even a Chihuahua in the hood.
I'm not trying to fuck with that shit. That shit gives you fucking bad.
Ask a lot though, bro. This guy's definitely on his way to Home Depot for some concrete mix for sure.
Right. I actually have quite a bit of them, but we'll save them for a bunch of other episodes.
Let's do this.
But I got one more for you. Okay.
Let's do one more.
Are you ready for this one?
For sure.
All right. If you can ask a cholo or a gangster anything you want to ask them, what would you ask them?
Oh, dude, where's the best Generation X store to get some dickies around here, brother? That's how you connect with your vatos right there. Ask them where the Gen X store is, ask them about dickies, and ask them about lowriders. You're in.
God.
Oh man, I forgot I had those too. I asked quite a bit of you guys too, so I have quite a bit of the comedians too.
That is always so weird. I did not expect to see myself on camera at all.
That's a tough first episode, bro. Baby. That's what you call first episode.
You got me going up the first one. No, it's always, for as much as we do this, for as much as we're on a microphone, whether it's being on podcast, doing doing mics, shows, when you see yourself unexpectedly in a video, it still throws you off. But I'm not wrong, and I'm gonna tell you right. I drove past a Gen X store, and that's how you know you're in real vato territory, because they're in the hood. If there's only Gen X's in the hood, our Gen X is in the war zone.
Yeah, I've seen it before. I'm just like, oh great.
Yeah, right. I think it's like San Pedro and Zuni.
I'm
like
not
it's
going.
Yeah, that's hood, bro. And you could get...
Yeah, you know it's so hood because it's right next to an Audio Express.
Oh, yeah, they sell Suavecito there. They still sell Loke sunglasses. I'm sure you could get homie little figurines. If you remember homies,
dude.
if you are true old school, like my age Latino, I'm in my 30s, so not that old, but we used to collect those homies, go to the flea market. That's real Vato shit. Gen X, I'm not wrong. Gen X, Dickies, and Lowriders. Oh, gosh, bro.
That was it, man.
I still didn't ask anything, though. Yo, so you know what I want to do definitely
Go ahead.
is when my pops comes on, he's the most old school Vato that I know.
Okay.
And I definitely want to have him on as like a returning guest because I feel like a series with him would just be fun.
Yeah, dude.
We'll have to do a specific series just with him and show him some of these videos because he has the best answers, bro.
Oh, really?
My dad's we grew up in Santa Fe, which is, our capital, but it's still a smaller city.
Not only that, Santa Fe is the oldest capital even before the United States.
Even before. So oldest capital in the country,
ever.
predating the country.
Predating everything.
So, I love historical things, like side tangent, just real quick, but historical things about New Mexico like that. We have so much old history, so many different tribes and pueblos. Like, I love learning stuff from native stuff about Josh's Navajo culture to older stuff. My dad tells me about Santa Fe. They have a school for the deaf out there that they've had forever. They have some really unique things. I think their mascot's the Def Leppard.
I was actually gonna reference that. I was like, I heard that somewhere.
Oh, damn. And but I think they have like one of the oldest houses in the country, something like that. But I love just our state term, right? Land of enchantment. And it's not just because we have a beautiful state, but it's like we have so much history and like ancient stories and enchanted things. And, Josh talking about skinwalkers to all of our old history. So
fucking aliens, dude.
Yeah, to Roswell and aliens. And so hopefully we could get some people from all different like cities to just talk about like their culture and my pops and tune in on some of these Vato videos because that's where I really think will be like a lot of fun for sure.
Yeah, and I'll go out more, get some more footage. I mean, it's pandemic time, dude.
Yeah, we'll definitely get some like on the street segments. I live right downtown Albuquerque, so we'll do some fun stuff. We'll go out on Sundays when they're cruising and we'll film some stuff because I think it'll be cool to showcase like our culture a little bit. I don't think a lot of people realize how unique New Mexico is, and everything's different from our Sunday cruising to the cars that come out and our lowrider culture to our food. Like, our food is so specific to only our state. And a lot of people think New Mexico food's like Mexican food. Nah. Mexican food and New Mexican food are way different. So I would love to get different restaurant owners, different, some of their food trucks. We have some amazing food trucks. One of my favorite, I'm a coffee fanatic. Y'all see my stories. I could go from one coffee shop to another. So we'll keep going, and I want to get some like coffee owners because our little scene here, like our niche scenes, our coffee scene, our brewer scene, our food scene is so unique. We have great food trucks popping up, turning into restaurants. I live right above one of them. So hopefully we'll get some of these business owners in to just see what's going on in New Mexico because with Netflix coming here, Amazon coming here, the Facebook studio in Los Lunas, 30 minutes away. We are such a growing city. I want to broadcast and showcase as much of that as possible and have some really cool guests on. So that'll be one of the things that we showcase in this FiendCity podcast along this adventure of me and Angel Lopez.
Give a few more shout outs and let people know where they can find you. Also plug those dates in one more time.
Yeah, let's do that. So, of course, our first sponsor, we want to give a big thank you to Peterson Properties. They do a ton of commercial real estate, so check them out. If you're a business owner and you need somewhere to set up shop, check out Peterson Properties. That's our first sponsor. Thank you to them. Of course, my biggest thank you is to you, Angel. Follow him on Instagram, MuseMe TV. We're in MuseMe Studios. So big thank you to you, dog. This is not possible without you. He's my co-host, my producer, my editor. So this is my right-hand man along this adventure we take in this podcast. My best friends in comedy, Maverick and Josh, we're going to try to get those guys on right away. I'm very proud to see my classic comedians growing. My friends in Arizona, Reese, Luis, Reese Muniz, Luis Alvarez, my friends in Colorado, everybody doing their thing. Texas, we got Joey Johnson. So I see this class of comedians, and I want to use this to showcase all my friends, business owners here in town. So big shout out. My next date is July 26th, next Saturday, Comedy for Recovery. Look at my Instagram for details, Zach Abeyta Comedy. I have another show the next night, Red Velvet Underground, Psychedelic Psycho with Tom Baum. That's gonna be another weird one. I don't even know what that entails. I just know there's gonna be some mushrooms and some ladies with that feather in their hat.
You are gonna do the trip?
I'm gonna be on the show. I don't know exactly.
No, that's the purpose of the show, is the trip.
Yeah, well, I might be calling in to work one day. We'll see. I've been trip since I was in college and being a Lobo.
It still sounds crazy though. It sounds like it would be a fun experience.
We'll see what it entails, brother. If anything, I might just take 500 millis of edibles. And
I just don't like how it's at the Red Velvet though.
That's kind of weird.
I'm
Yeah.
not
It's
trying. I'm not trying to go into this dark hole of an abyss.
Place. If you don't like Red Velvet, it's the weirdest venue. Carpet on the walls, chandeliers. It looks like the Jokers hang out. It looks like somewhere you get beat into a Slytherin gang.
Marilyn Manson's.
Yeah, it looks like it's owned by the Crypt. Yeah, it's owned by the Crypt Keeper. It's a weird place.
You can keep going. The list goes on.
Gosh, but you know what?
It's a place to do comedy.
It's still Saturday night
That's where
showcase.
you do it.
That's where we be at Saturday nights. If I'm in town, I'm usually at Red Velvet. Yeah, so the very next week, July 8th, El Paso, Texas, I'll be headlining out there at Mona Bar. So any of the Southern homies, please come out. Las Cruces homies, I'd love to see some of the hip hop family. That should be fun. That's my first time in El Paso. I've never been to El Paso. I've actually never performed in that area. So I'm hyped to go out there and headline a show right away and hopefully make some good connections off that. July 9th, the very next day, we're going to be at Cities of Gold for our second show. The first one was so ridiculously good. It's gonna be hard to top, but I brought a lineup that's like, there's something for everyone. Everyone's a killer. The first show we had on Josh Fournier, Robert Bucky Gibson, and Steph Darnell, which is hard to beat because those are 3 headliners and they all did their thing and the audience was lit. But I also got 3 more heavy hitters coming out, and Josh is on the lineup again because anytime I could put that dude on a show, he'll be there. That's July 9th, Cities of Gold Casino, just north of Santa Fe. And then July 10th, Saturday, right on Santa Fe Plaza at the Apothecary Lounge. We're going to be doing 2 shows, 7 and 9 p.m. We got Sarah Kennedy on that one, Cody Dove, Maverick, and Luis Pal, some of New Mexico's best. So you don't want to miss these shows. They're going to be great. In August, I'm going to start touring. I'll be in Colorado again. I have a Farmington show that I'm going to be doing at their casino. But we're going to be doing more episodes, so follow along for more dates. We have our email, FiendCity Podcast. So send us questions.
Anything.
Yeah, send
literally.
us anything. Send us some links to some videos.
Yeah.
Like, that's one thing. We didn't really do that this episode, but we'll be reacting to videos. Anything we think that's just funny or going on, pop culture. So that's our email, FiendCity Podcast. Hit us up with questions. Music, anything that you want us to answer, we'll tap in. We'll get into it for sure. And then my Instagram is Zach Abeyta Comedy. Find me on Facebook, Zach Abeyta. And this is first hour flew by. I can't wait to rock with you on Hill.
It's gonna be fun, man.
Let's do some more.
This is gonna be up soon, everybody. Hope you guys enjoy.
Peace. FiendCity Podcast. Let's go. Hell yeah.